that. It's
So
funny, I can talk like this on camera, but you put the camera in front of me if it were just me solo and I'm not myself.
Well, you're live, so say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Instagram. Okay, Instagram did it. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Levels with No Limits. I'm Amanda Marino, your host from Next Level Recovery Associates. Today, I have Jodi Renert on, who is a powerhouse full of passion for her mission. Jodi, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jodi, and thank you, Amanda, for having me today. I want to share with all of you. I'm super excited. We have a 5K coming up for recovery through repetition, and Amanda and I are going to just kind of chat some about it.
Yeah. So Jodi, when I first, because Sarah sometimes like screens things for me. And so once she told me like your story and your mission, I was like, I was even on vacation. I'm laying in the Keys. I was like, I have to call her because I so related to it from what I did with Women Empowering Women and what, like raising money to help support in the grief and loss process, like helped me to carry on and feel like there was some healing, and I know that's part of your mission.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm happy to share. So I am in recovery, and I am a board member on Recovery Through Repetitions. Their mission is, in the recovery community, they offer free donation-based workouts to anyone in the recovery community. Friday night, there's a fitness workout. Monday night, there's a yoga workout. They scholarship men and women in the recovery community to pursue their careers in the fitness community, whether it be a personal trainer certification or a yoga teacher training. Separately from me being sober and sharing a passion within that community, I have a very, very close and dear friend who struggled with mental health. She was not sober. She did not suffer from any substance abuse or alcoholism. Just mental health was something that she struggled with for a long time. And she died last year by suicide. Melanie Simon, a beautiful mother, a beautiful wife, a daughter, a friend, one of the very best friends I've ever been, blessed to have had in my life. So I went to Recovery Through Repetition, and I had this idea. First, I went to her husband and her girls, and I said, I want to do something. I don't know what that looks like. And it became, I have a love for fitness. I said, let's do a 5K, let's do something. Yeah. And they weren't necessarily ready to, highlight her entirely. So I said, maybe we can make this more about recovery / mental health. And then we came up, let's do it in May. Let's do it Mother's Day weekend. Mental health awareness is celebrated throughout the month of May. And Recovery Through Repetition got behind it. Recovery, as far as, what I've learned, comes in all different forms, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, a struggle with substance abuse, a struggle with alcohol. I think that, we are all touched by it in one way or another, whether it's personally or someone that we know or love.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so it started as I think, something that you believe in and you feel in, and it's like today it's become a life of its own. So
I love that. And that is a good message for, if you like, the recovery world has gotten so broad, right? There's food, there's relationships, there's trauma, there's so many things that we've all gone through. We're all in a version of some kind of recovery, right? And I think that it's opened up the doors lately for, like, you're not alone if you have mental health struggles. If you, just because it used to be just like kind of separate. It doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels like it's very open and there's a lot of support out there. And the fact that you're raising the awareness, people are passionate about mental health. Look what COVID did. It put people that were on the edge over the edge, people that were okay and unstable. It was a very, very hard time, but it was a time that actually brought light that we need therapy. We need help with, we need support out there.
Yes.
So I love that you're following your heart, and that's why you're so successful. And you had a goal of like a certain amount of registrants, and you've like doubled that and then some. And
Yes.
people are wanting to sponsor, and so it's a beautiful thing. And that's because of you and your heart and your mission.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
So what is the website? If I want, I'm going to put it in here in the comments so people can register.
Okay. So you can either go to Recovery Through Repetition's website, which is RTR.
We are
ARERTR.org.
Okay.
Or you can go to Run Sign Up, and you can search for the race. It's RTR 5K for recovery, shining a light on mental health.
Okay, awesome.
And it's May 10th at 8 a.m. and it's at BRiC, which is here at Boca, the Boca Raton Innovation Campus.
It's funny. I just spoke at a women's event there.
I think I saw that.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. It's a great, amazing location. And we are, I'm honored that they're, allowing us to do this. And I think something that I spoke to you about, this is something that this is the first of many, it's something that, my vision is that, we see this is our first annual, and I'm looking forward to many years to come, and, potentially, big visions of where this is going to go, and, making a difference in, if it's just one life that we, make a difference and raise awareness.
That's amazing. Yeah. I remember talking a long time ago when me and my former business partner, who's still my best friend, when we had a podcast and we had Jeremy come on, and it was like probably like almost a decade ago now. And when, it was a different, and I know that he still very much supports it as the founder from what I, it's a beautiful what it's evolved into. And I love that you want to have a legacy. You don't want to just have it be like you're seeing how successful you are with this one event, because you're seeing the community support you and come together, and, and 5Ks are just like a healthy thing for families to do together. Like I did a bunch with my son when he was in elementary school, and it was a way that we bonded. And if we walked and ran, it didn't matter. Like if you're not a runner, you can still come to the 5K.
It's about community. I think everything that, this and everything that, Recovery Through Repetition stands for, it's, bringing the community together. Hey, you could run, you could walk, you could show up to do service, you can be a volunteer, you can just be there to fellowship, in or out of recovery. I think that, the beautiful part of this is that, we're not only bringing, the recovery community together, there are so many others that are collectively coming together to support, whether it's, for my girlfriend, Melanie, there's since been another young girl that died by suicide, and her family has the support of over 60 as of today, I believe, that are, going to show up to, show the family and the community, that this is something that, we need to be able to talk about it. I think everybody needs to be able to be okay in talking about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And too many people suffer alone in silence and are scared to tell anybody. And that's like one of my greatest messages in the world, is why I believe vulnerability is a strength, right? We're talking some real talk here. And, if we can share our pain with at least one person, it really will lighten the load. It doesn't mean you have to tell everybody everything, right? At least one person. And like my therapist, I have a coach, I have a therapist, I have a psychiatrist, I have all the things that I want people I work with to have. Like I implement all those things in my life, and I think it's really important. People are suffering in silence far too much. Like look at, the one that was really hard, like shocking and hard for me was Twitch from the Ellen show. Did you know?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh, it was, I used to watch him and his wife dance. And you see from the outside, you see you see happiness. You don't see someone struggling.
I have goosebumps.
I do too.
So I'm actually going to Allison's house when I go to LA, and I'm going on her podcast to talk about this. So I think that it's just the awareness, you know what I mean? That sometimes people that look like the happiest people on the planet are suffering in silence, and that we have to do better. we have to make it easy for people. I want to be someone that people can come to, and I'm not going to judge them or shame them, that I'm going to love them no matter what. That's my goal.
Yeah. And that it's okay to not be okay. Right. And to be able to like share that with, like you said, just even if it's just one person that are comfortable or have, the opportunity to be able to open up to.
Absolutely. And I think one good thing about the internet, I'm on lives, but I deleted my apps for a little bit because I just want a little break. But a really good thing is that like people remember that they used to say the phone was like 1,000 pounds or whatever, but to send someone a message in a DM is actually a lot less. I've had people say, hey, I've never told anyone this, but I'm a successful, whatever business person. And I'm struggling with, my mental health and using cocaine. And so like, if that's your entryway to talk to somebody, that's a great place to start. If you're scared to pick up the phone, ask for help. There's the crisis helpline now, the 988. And then NAMI and our, Palm Beach and Broward County are amazing. I know Blake, my former business partner, he's on the board of the Broward County one. So there's a lot of good resources out there. So how can people support you? Like, what are you looking for besides people to come and attend? Are there sponsorships available still?
So at this point, it's what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the community. I'm looking for people to, and I say, to come out and be there to support and to show up for everybody. Again, like I said, it's I think it's like you said, the legacy. It's for me, this is the sustainability. I want to see that this becomes, we don't just stop here. I think people, tend to start something and then they never finish, and this for me is something that I want to see, year 1, year 2, year 3, just like you said, 5Ks, there are 5Ks that I show up and I go to that have been going on and for years and years and years and years to come. And,
great. It's a great event. There's so much fun and the energy you get like at a race, like I remember that when I did like 2 half marathons. One of them was, the Miami one. And I saw people in a half marathon pushing other people in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get to see, it's very powerful. Like seeing all walks of life, show up for different things and community and connection. And I'm seeing somebody go like a little faster than me. That's like, like a 90-year-old man, like I better move, so it's a little,
well, and what better way to help your mental health, but is, physical. I think the two, I know for me, on a daily basis, exercises, it's like brushing my teeth. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I forget to brush my teeth and something doesn't feel right in my life. And whenever I start moving, whether it's even just going for a walk, whatever it is I'm struggling with or having a hard time with, it never fails. Ever, ever, ever fails me.
Move a muscle, change a thought. It's so true.
Exactly.
That's like, I love like you were saying, the mission, part of the mission and part of what the proceeds go to is like what mine with my nonprofit was to send women in recovery to college. Like your guys are giving people a career path. And it's how many people that were, either struggling with mental illness or substance use disorder or whatever they are, find healing in the movement and the fitness. It
heals. It's the mind and the body. And as far as what you said, so the money that is being raised, I just want to make sure, is going to RTR's mission, and also a portion is going to be donated to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, to the Melanie Simon Memorial Fund. They're also going to be there. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is going to be there as a resource.
Great.
There are going to be a lot of people that, if they need the access or if they want to be able to ask the question, whether it's the recovery centers that have sponsored the event and are going to be there to, for people to have access to, or, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, PACE Center for Girls is coming out. And
211.
What's up?
Reached out to 211 because I have a lot of friends there.
So I did a little volunteering there actually after Melanie died, and I have been in touch with them, so I'm waiting to see whether
there anymore. But she was running it for a long time. But there's other people. I'm just trying to think of
I mean,
resources to support you.
I'll speak to anybody who will listen to me. I think
I love it. I love your passion.
Yeah,
I love it. It's
So
Pastor, great topic to talk about. Pastor Deborah. Hi, Pastor Deborah. It's an unfortunate topic to talk about, but it is a reality in our world. You know, how many, I want, like, how many people are struggling in silence that we don't know? I mean, I've known many people that have taken their own lives, way too many. I know way too many people that have passed away from, mismanaging medications or overdosing or whatever it is. That by 44 years old, I should not, but this is a reality. And I think that the more we talk about things like this, the more we can make it comfortable for people to ask for help. Right.
Yeah. And like you said, the ones that are struggling in silence. I mean, I think, like you mentioned, Twitch, sometimes you don't even know it. Like, there could be someone sitting across from you and smiling and, and what is really going on in their insides. Like, we don't know what's happening in someone else's world. So why not make a platform or, make it so that it's easy for people to share and open up. I'm struggling.
Yeah. And
even with recovery, like being able to say, it's going. AA taught me what AA taught me is that it's okay to say, hi, I'm Jodi, I'm an alcoholic, and say that proudly, and it should be the same for mental health. Why not? Like, hi, I'm Jodi, and I'm struggling today with, whatever
anxiety,
all of the things that we all, struggle with. To what degree?
It's human and it's culture. It's our society. There's so many factors now too with the young, like, I have a daughter who just entered middle school, and like, I've said it like 1,000. I took off, like I've been traveling my kids' whole lives. They're used to that. But when she started middle school, I canceled everything to be home with her, to guide her, because I was terrified. Middle school was rough. Starting high school for a girl, rough. My daughter's friendly. She's nice. She's smart. She's pretty. She's going to have a hard time. When you're like that, you got to have a hard time. People think it's just like something else. Like if there's something unique about a person that they get bullied, but like she already has had it. So I've been here and I've walked her through it. She's taken it with such grace. I let that stuff crumble me when I was younger. Even now, like she taught me a lesson. Like, Mom, it's not about me. I'm going to pray for that person.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Oh, it's a former licensed clinical mental health counselor and now a global pastor. Oh, I would love to have you on, Pastor. Send me a DM. I'd love to have you on Levels Without Limits and talk to you about this. It's a very, very unfortunate thing. But there, like, thankfully there are these resources. There is this awareness, and like what you're doing is you're bringing our community together, and you're honoring a friend.
No. And like I said, I did never would I have imagined that, the love and the support that I'm seeing, however it may look, whether it's, the sponsors, whether it's the participants, whether it's the volunteers, whether it's just, anyone in the recovery community, the families, there's just, it's given me a fulfillment, that I never even imagined was really possible. So and
it really just brings me back to when I, like, that's why I connected so much with your story. Because like, I didn't know what to do. And I was actually on a run. When I run, I get very clairvoyant, like very good. Like, you have to do this, like very clear. Because it takes
your best thinking happens, right?
It's like non-thinking thinking, like all the stuff that you so I had the idea when I was running, I have to send women in recovery to college for Kim and Kim's honor, because Kim thought because she had felonies that she couldn't get past this and she couldn't build a life for herself. And that was what kept her holding her back. She would get to like 90 days and she'd see no future. So she would go back and relapse. So like, I knew that mission. And then when that fell apart, when that nonprofit fell apart, like I had to grieve her all over again, because I put all of that emotion into that. But what you're doing, it just gives me such goosebumps, because it's like, it helped me and it helped so many people. And then now that I think I share with you, the family owns, was trying to close the app. But the father, he wasn't ready to do something when I was either, right? The family was still really having a hard time. But now, and years later, he's opened Kimmy's Recovery Zone on the west coast of Florida, which is a recovery community center, RCO.
That's great. Amazing. I love that.
So
yes, so it's yes, and they're going to be, so her husband and youngest daughter are both going to be there. Their oldest daughter is actually in Spain on a semester abroad. So, and they're super happy and excited with, I think just as pleased as I am with, the way that this is unfolding is, I guess, really the best way to put it, because like I said, on a daily basis, I'm, I wake up and I'm yet again surprised by, the love and the support that I, in so many different ways that, everyone is showing up. So,
well, you deserve it. It's divine intervention. It's her spirit. It's your passion, your love for your friends,
Yes. Yeah, no, she's been with me every day, every step of the way.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for what you're doing for our community. I love things that bring the community together and bring families to come do a fun outing. Like in this era that we're in, like I do some, stuff with people with digital addictions. That's why I take breaks myself, because you have to keep like stable, I think. But like for families, anyone that's listening, like you're trying to get your family to go out and do something. Your kids are lost in the gaming and the phones and stuff. Come out May 10th. Yep. Your whole family. They can walk, run, just hang out, community. There'll be all kinds of things going on. This is a great opportunity to like bring your family and go do something fun in the community. Start your Saturday off right. You'll feel amazing afterwards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no better way to start your day.
Yeah. Giving and is the best feeling.
Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And if you're struggling, there's I'll provide some, I put 988, there's 211, there's Recovery Through Repetition's website on here. Just there's a lot of resources out there. You're not alone. And do you have a message to Jodi before we come off that you would just want to send to anybody that may be struggling? Anything about your race?
Yeah, no, I just thank you again. I appreciate you, sharing this with, the big reach that you guys have. And like I said, it's, just, come out, just be there, be a part of something really, really great. And the beginning of the part of something great and seeing something evolve into something that, like I said, if it's just one life that we, make a difference and raise awareness and, spread the awareness, amongst the community. That's the idea here.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. And so Jodi, afterwards too, you can go in if there's on the social medias, you can also put like the direct links or like the picture of the flyer, like this will still be up. So,
okay, great.
And I'll also tag you so people can reach out to you directly. So if you're trying to get your family out of the house, if you're struggling, if you want to support the community, you're looking for some people that are like making healthy choices that you want to connect with, this is it. Come out May 10th, 8 a.m. Reach out to Jodi, register on the link I put up top, or we'll put it in again after this live. All right. What about for anyone struggling?
What are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, it's just show up to be around people and, come and be around a community of people that are there, and happy to help. And, it's maybe hard, but, sometimes just showing up is, I think it's like they say, it's the hardest part is making it, getting yourself to the gym, and I know that's much easier said than done for someone that's struggling. Mental health is something that I can't wrap my brain around, when your mind takes over, but it's, there is help out there. It's just a matter of, putting yourself in front of the right people.
Absolutely. Like, listen, like I know it's like something for me that's overwhelming is like, like cleaning out my closet, like organizing my closet, because I have a gigantic closet. So like I will call a friend and like have a friend if I just have someone here. So it's like that with it. Like if you want it, if you're really have like a desire to get active, but your mind is like keeping you prisoner in your home and all these things, like ask somebody that, help maybe get you out of the house, keep you accountable. If you don't have a friend, there's professionals that do these things. So there's so many great resources out there. And if you're struggling, if you're suffering, please reach out for help. Don't struggle alone. And we'll see you May 10th at the big race.
Yes.
Inaugural.
Amanda, thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to log off Instagram. It makes me do it in 2 places. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.